Everything you experience is frequency. If you understand this, you hold the key to shifting reality itself. And if you stay with me until the final chapter, I'll give you a complete technique to tune your frequency so your manifestation anchors instantly. Most people believe reality changes because of force, action, or sheer persistence. They push, they struggle, they repeat the same steps hoping that this time the outcome will be different. But in truth, manifestation is not about brute effort. It's about vibration. It's about the subtle signal you broadcast through thought, feeling, and state of being. The quantum field, which contains every possible timeline you could live, doesn't respond to the noise of your busyness. It responds to the purity of your frequency. Think of a radio. Turning the dial is not about convincing the airwaves to play a new station. It's about tuning your receiver to the exact vibration already carrying the signal. Reality is no different. The outcomes you desire, whether it's freedom from toxic loops, abundance, love, or peace, are already vibrating within the quantum field. When you shift your own internal frequency, you align with them, and they appear in your experience. That is the quantum key. It is not effort-based, it is resonance-based. You've already glimpsed this in small ways. Times when you felt unusually calm and opportunities appeared out of nowhere. Times when you were lost in joy and synchronicities lined up perfectly. Times when you dropped resistance and suddenly the solution you were chasing revealed itself. Those weren't accidents. They were feedback from the field, showing you that alignment is always the doorway. And just as misalignment creates struggle, frequency alignment creates flow. The reason this is so powerful is because it bypasses the illusion of control. Toxic cycles trick you into believing you need to do more, fight harder, or outthink the problem. But the cycle continues because the vibration stays the same. When you shift your state first, the external begins to rearrange without struggle. It's the reversal of how we were taught to approach life. Instead of effort shaping frequency, frequency shapes effort. Instead of reality being fixed and heavy, reality is fluid, responding instantly to what you radiate. And here's the deeper evidence. The fact that you're hearing this right now is not random. In frequency terms, this video itself is a synchronicity, a mirror of your readiness. A part of you has already begun the shift. Otherwise, this message wouldn't have found you. That's the quantum field reflecting back your openness, proving that you are aligned enough to attract the very guidance you need to step out of the old pattern. Pay attention to how this realization feels in your body. That resonance is not just theory, it's energy moving. That is the key starting to turn. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand the principle, but know how to apply it. Because knowledge without embodiment is just theory. And what we're building here is practice. A lived ability to hold frequency, to release the weight of effort, and to let reality respond. This is the doorway to quantum manifestation, and you already have your hand on the handle. Most people believe their thoughts are sentences running through the mind, like words spoken silently to themselves. But thoughts are more than language. At their core, they are frequencies. They carry energy that resonates in the quantum field long before they ever become spoken words. Words can only describe. Frequency transmits. This is why you can say affirmations endlessly and still feel stuck if the vibration beneath those words does not match the reality you want to live. The field is not listening to your vocabulary. It is reading your resonance. Imagine standing in front of someone and saying, "I'm fine," while inside you are filled with anxiety. They feel the truth of your vibration even if they don't consciously analyze it. The quantum field works the same way. When your thoughts are accompanied by a frequency of doubt, lack, or fear, that is what transmits, and the field reflects it back in experiences that match. On the other hand, when your thought carries the vibration of certainty, freedom, or joy, even if you never say a word aloud, the frequency anchors and reality begins to shift toward it. This is why some desires feel effortless, flowing to you with ease, while others seem to stall no matter how many times you repeat them. Every thought is an oscillation. It hums in the field, blending with other vibrations, creating the tone of your reality. This is why awareness matters. You may think you're focused on abundance because you keep repeating phrases about wealth, But if the underlying frequency of those thoughts is fear of not having enough, then the true transmission is lack. The words are surface, the vibration is substance. The field always responds to substance. You've felt this distinction before. Think about moments when you were deeply aligned with excitement and a new idea emerged. You didn't have to force it. The energy felt alive and expansive. Compare that to moments when you repeated affirmations through gritted teeth, hoping to override your doubt. One was a frequency of flow, the other was a frequency of resistance. The outcomes that followed each state were not random. They were reflections of the oscillations you transmitted. Understanding thought as frequency liberates you from the illusion that you need to control every word in your mind. You don't need perfection. What matters is the tone, the resonance. If you can shift the feeling that carries your thoughts, you change the vibration they emit. And once that vibration shifts, the field begins to deliver new experiences without struggle. This is why practices like visualization, meditation, and gratitude work. They adjust the frequency of thought, not just the words. So ask yourself, what is the hum beneath my thinking? Is it expansion or contraction, trust or doubt, openness or fear? Once you start noticing, you reclaim your power. Because when you treat thought as vibration, you stop being fooled by language alone. You begin to listen to the frequency you're sending into the field, and that is the level at which quantum manifestation begins to move. If thoughts are the blueprint, emotions are the electricity that lights it up. Your mind can imagine, affirm, and construct a desire, but it is the emotional charge beneath those thoughts that actually transmits into the quantum field. Emotions are vibrational amplifiers. They don't just echo what you're thinking. They intensify it, project it further, and magnetize matching experiences with speed and force. This is why two people can think similar thoughts but attract completely different outcomes. One carries an emotional current of certainty, the other carries doubt. The field doesn't weigh their words equally. It tunes in to the stronger broadcast. Consider a time when you felt overwhelming gratitude, maybe even for something small. In that state, your whole body vibrated differently. Opportunities appeared, conversations flowed, and coincidences seemed to stack in your favor. Gratitude carried the thought into resonance, and the quantum field reflected it quickly. Now compare that with a time you repeated affirmations while feeling anxious or resentful. The words may have been positive, but the emotion underneath told a different story. In that case, the field aligned with the emotion, not the surface thought. This is why you can't fake frequency. The vibration always reveals itself. When emotions and thoughts clash, the emotion wins. You can say, "I believe abundance is coming," but if the emotion beneath it is fear of being broke, the field reads the fear as the dominant signal. This doesn't mean you're powerless. It means your true power is in aligning emotion with thought, so both move in harmony. When thought and feeling match, the signal is coherent, and coherence manifests with ease. This is the secret behind why certain visualizations or practices feel alive while others fall flat, because the emotional amplifier is either switched on or left muted. The good news is, you don't need to suppress negative emotions or pretend they don't exist. Their presence is feedback. If you feel contraction when thinking about a desire, it's an invitation to adjust the way you're holding that thought. Maybe you need to soften it, approach it with curiosity, or step into smaller choices of alignment until the emotion shifts naturally. Emotional resonance is not about forcing yourself to feel something you don't. It's about learning to pay attention to the frequency your emotions are transmitting and guiding them gently into alignment. One simple way to work with this is to recall moments when you felt genuine joy, love, or relief. Let your body re-enter that emotional state while thinking about your desire. This pairing changes everything. The thought gives direction, the emotion gives fuel, and together they broadcast a frequency the field cannot ignore. Each time you practice this, you strengthen the coherence between thought and feeling, making manifestation less of a struggle and more of a natural unfolding. Remember, emotion is the amplifier. If you want to shift timelines, if you want your quantum manifestation to move quickly, learn to listen to how you feel more than what you say. That is the frequency the field tunes into. And now, pause and subscribe, because each new layer of this knowledge lifts your vibration and keeps you aligned with the next shift. Synchronicity is not luck, coincidence, or mere chance. It is the mirror of the frequency you are carrying, reflected back in the outer world so you can see it clearly. Every so-called accident, every perfect alignment of events, every uncanny moment where you think of someone and they call, or you imagine an outcome and it appears, is feedback from the quantum field. This feedback is the universe saying, here is the frequency you're running. This is the vibration you've been broadcasting. Once you understand this, you no longer dismiss synchronicity as random. You begin to treat it as guidance, a compass pointing you toward alignment or showing you where you've been dwelling. When you think in frequency terms, synchronicities become proof that your inner world and outer world are communicating. They reveal that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you, based on what you transmit. A repeating number sequence on a clock or license plate may seem trivial, but when you pause to ask what you were just thinking or feeling at that moment, the connection becomes obvious. The numbers are not the power. The frequency that drew them to your awareness is. The event is simply the universe underlining what you're vibrating with. It's less about the object itself and more about what it reflects. Imagine you're holding a radio tuned to a specific station. You wouldn't expect to hear rock music on a classical channel. Likewise, you wouldn't expect to encounter synchronicities of abundance if you're broadcasting lack. Yet when you change the dial, the content shifts instantly. The synchronicities you meet after shifting your frequency confirm the new station you've locked into. You might meet new people, find unexpected opportunities, or even have delays and blocks dissolve in surprising ways. None of these are accidents. They are direct reflections of the signal you're sending. This is also why negative synchronicities can appear. If you're cycling in frustration, you might find one inconvenience after another stacking in your day. It's not punishment. It's the mirror reminding you of the loop you're in. When you recognize it for what it is, you can consciously shift. You can say, this is feedback, not fate. I can tune differently. And when you do, the synchronicities adjust just as quickly. They stop being warnings and start becoming confirmations. The key is to stop treating synchronicity as something mysterious or outside your control. It is simply the quantum field's way of showing you what frequency you're resonating with. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? You begin asking, what vibration is this showing me? That single shift in perspective changes everything. You move from victimhood to empowerment, from confusion to clarity. The feedback becomes guidance, and guidance makes the path obvious. The more you recognize synchronicities as mirrors of your vibration, the faster you adjust your trajectory. They become your allies, not your curiosities. They are the universe's language, spoken in frequency, reminding you that alignment is always within reach. Toxic loops in life are not cosmic punishments or evidence that you're doomed to repeat mistakes forever. They are simply frequency echoes, vibrations you've been broadcasting that reverberate back to you until you choose to shift. Think of it like shouting into a canyon. The echo doesn't judge you, it just reflects what you sent out. If you keep yelling the same word, you'll hear the same response. In the same way, if you keep transmitting fear, doubt, or unworthiness, life keeps echoing those signals back through repeating situations, people, and feelings. The loop is not there to trap you. It's there to show you exactly what frequency you're carrying. Many people misinterpret these echoes as fate or bad luck. They think, why does this always happen to me? But the truth is that life is showing you, with perfect neutrality, what signal you've been sending. If you stay on the same station, you keep hearing the same song. If you want the music to change, you don't fight the echo. You change the dial. That's what breaking the loop really means. Not battling the repetition, but tuning into a new band altogether. And the moment you shift, the old echoes lose their power. They fade because the canyon can only bounce back what you give it. Recognizing loops is the first step to breaking them. If you keep ending up in draining relationships, that's a signal of a frequency running on lack of self-worth or fear of being alone. If money seems to slip away no matter what you do, the echo may be reflecting beliefs of scarcity or unworthiness around abundance. If opportunities always seem just out of reach, the loop might be replaying a vibration of doubt in your own capability. The specifics of the loop matter less than the pattern it reveals. Once you see it clearly, you realize you're not stuck. You're simply being handed a mirror. The power lies in the choice to tune differently. You don't need to solve every problem inside the loop. You just need to step into a new vibration that doesn't generate it anymore. Instead of repeating fear, you can choose trust. Instead of reinforcing doubt, you can transmit self-certainty. Instead of embodying lack, you can lean into the vibration of gratitude. Each new choice shifts the frequency, and when the frequency shifts, the echoes can't return in the same form. The canyon falls silent, and the music changes. Here's the most important thing. Loops don't repeat to punish you. They repeat to remind you of your own power. They give you another chance, again and again, to recognize the frequency you're in and to choose differently. That means every loop is secretly an invitation. It's the universe saying, "Are you ready to play a new song?" And when you answer yes, the entire reality begins to adjust. So leave a comment sharing what loop you're noticing most in your life, because declaring it is the first step to shifting it. Your body is the most honest instrument you will ever own. Long before your mind rationalizes or spins stories, your body tells the truth about the frequency you're standing in. Expansion, ease, peace, and genuine excitement are the body's way of signaling resonance, that you are aligned with the vibration of freedom, joy, and flow. Tightness, dread, heaviness, and fatigue, on the other hand, are your built-in signals of dissonance. They don't come to punish you. They come to guide you, to whisper that the station you're tuned into isn't the one you want to amplify. Learning to read your body in this way is like learning to read the compass of your own quantum field. Think about the last time you felt fully alive. Maybe it was standing in nature. Maybe it was laughing uncontrollably with a friend. Maybe it was diving into a project that lit you up. In those moments, your body was open. Your chest expanded. Your breath flowed easily. Your energy felt abundant. That was resonance. You were aligned with a frequency that matched who you really are. Now think of a time when you dreaded going somewhere, or when you felt drained by someone's presence, or when a decision left you with a pit in your stomach. That contraction wasn't random. It was your body signaling dissonance, your vibration clashing with the situation, showing you that this path wasn't aligned. Most people are taught to ignore these signals. They're told to push through, to think their way out, to override the gut feeling with logic or obligation. But when you dismiss your body, you dismiss the most accurate frequency reading device you have. Words can lie, thoughts can spin, emotions can get tangled in past conditioning. But the body is immediate. It cannot fake resonance. When you learn to listen, you stop guessing and start aligning. The beauty of this compass is that it's available in every moment. You don't need elaborate rituals to access it. Just pause, breathe, and notice. Does your body soften or tense? Does your energy rise or collapse? Does your chest feel open or closed? That's all you need to know which way you're facing in the frequency map. If it expands, keep going. If it contracts, it's a signal to adjust, shift, or walk away. This doesn't mean chasing excitement blindly. It means letting the body's truth weigh in before the mind convinces you otherwise. Your body also teaches you subtlety. Sometimes the resonance is not fireworks and adrenaline. It's quiet peace, a gentle knowing, a sense that this is right. Sometimes the dissonance is not panic. It's boredom, irritation, or low-level drain. Both matter. Both are guidance. Over time, you become more sensitive, more attuned, able to feel shifts in frequency the way a musician hears notes. And when you navigate this way, you stop forcing life into shapes that don't fit. Instead, you ride the currents that already carry you forward. Your body is not a burden to overcome. It's your built-in quantum compass. Expansion means yes. Contraction means no. And when you honor that, you live in resonance with the frequency that manifests the reality you truly desire. In quantum terms, reality is not fixed until it is observed. Possibilities exist in a kind of suspended superposition, waiting for attention to select one over the others. This is not just abstract science, it is a mirror of how your own consciousness works. The observer effect shows that your focus matters more than you've been led to believe. Wherever you place your attention, you are collapsing probability into actuality. This means that every glance, every fixation, every emotional charge is not passive. It is an act of creation. You are not just looking at life, you are steering it. Think of your mind like a spotlight in a dark room filled with countless objects. The moment you shine the light on something, it comes into view, into clarity, into presence. Your awareness makes it real in your experience. The same principle applies to the field of your life. If you focus on lack, you will see evidence of lack. If you focus on abundance, you will see evidence of abundance. Both were possible, both were present, but your observation called one forward. The quantum field reflects not what is true universally, but what you have chosen to energize. This is why worry seems to self-fulfill. When you feed energy into fear, you amplify the frequency of what you don't want. The more you observe the potential for failure, the more you tune yourself to it, and the more reality bends to mirror it back. But the same principle works in the opposite direction. When you place deliberate attention on what frees you, expands you, and excites you, you collapse outcomes that carry that vibration. You literally train reality to stabilize around the alignment you choose. It is not a question of whether the field responds, it is always responding. The question is, what are you observing most consistently? Some people assume that focusing on what they want means ignoring what they fear. But the truth is subtler. You don't need to deny dissonance, you simply need to stop feeding it with obsessive observation. Acknowledge it, and then move your spotlight elsewhere. Attention is your most precious currency in the quantum field. Spend it wisely because whatever you buy with it, you will live inside. This is why practices like meditation or journaling work. They train your observation away from scattered loops and toward coherent choice. When you understand the observer effect, you stop feeling like life is happening to you. You see that you are always happening to life. Your gaze is the switch that selects the reality track you walk upon. Each moment you ask yourself, what am I observing most? You reclaim authorship. Each moment you shift that focus toward freedom, joy, or clarity, you collapse outcomes that match it. Life bends to where you look. And if you want to strengthen your focus on alignment, like this video, because that small act anchors the vibration of choosing freedom. Fear is one of the most powerful anchors in the quantum field. It contracts your energy, pulls your focus into survival mode, and locks your vibration into repeating loops. This is why toxic cycles feel so hard to escape. They are often fueled by an undercurrent of fear that convinces you to stay small, to stay stuck, to stay where it's safe. But when you step back and see fear for what it is, just a frequency, you gain the ability to choose differently. Fear is not a verdict, not a prophecy, and not a punishment. It is simply a vibration, and any vibration can be shifted. The first step to neutralizing fear is to observe it without judgment. Most people either fight their fear or drown in it, but both approaches give it more power. Fighting fear tells the field that fear is important enough to wrestle with. Collapsing under fear tells the field that fear is the authority. Observation, on the other hand, creates space. When you witness your fear like a passing weather pattern, you stop feeding it. You no longer identify with it. You recognize it as energy moving through. In that moment, fear loses its grip, because you are no longer vibrating at its level. The second step is to choose a new resonance. You don't get rid of fear by force. You outgrow it by tuning into something stronger. Expansion is always available, but it requires conscious choice. When fear arises, ask, what higher frequency can I embody right now? It might be trust, curiosity, gratitude, or even excitement about what's possible beyond the fear. Each of these frequencies is more expansive, and by aligning with them, you shift the field. The quantum doesn't care about the story fear tells. It only responds to the vibration you sustain. The moment you hold a higher resonance, new timelines become available. One simple technique is to breathe into the fear. Instead of resisting the tightness, expand your breath and let your body know it is safe. As you exhale, imagine releasing the contraction and inviting in a frequency of openness. Another method is reframing. When fear says, "What if I fail?" you can choose to hear it as, "What if I expand beyond what I thought possible?" The vibration changes immediately, and with it, the field begins to rearrange. Fear is not your enemy, it is feedback. It shows you where you've been holding on to a frequency that no longer serves you. Instead of seeing fear as a wall, you can see it as a doorway, an invitation to rise higher. Each time you observe it calmly and choose a new vibration, you train your system to operate on a different frequency. Over time, fear stops running the show, and you discover a deeper stability that no loop can shake. This is how fear is neutralized, not by erasing it, but by refusing to let it dictate your resonance. You are always free to choose a higher band of frequency, and each time you do, you dissolve the old cycles that once seemed unbreakable. Beliefs are more than ideas. They are vibrational codes that shape the frequency you broadcast into the quantum field. Each belief carries a signature, a tone that either aligns with abundance and freedom or reinforces lack and limitation. This is why two people can approach the same opportunity and have completely different outcomes, because the field is responding to the vibration of their beliefs, not just their actions. If you carry a belief that says, "I'm not worthy," the frequency that goes out into the field is scarcity, and it brings back experiences that confirm that story. But if you shift the code to, "I am inherently worthy of love, success, and freedom," the field begins to mirror that vibration back to you in synchronistic ways. The subtlety is that beliefs often run beneath conscious thought. You may say affirmations with your mind, but if your core belief contradicts them, the stronger vibration wins. That's why surface-level positivity sometimes feels like it doesn't work. The field doesn't respond to the words. It responds to the frequency encoded in the belief you truly hold. This is why self-awareness is key. To shift reality, you must uncover the vibrational codes you've been unconsciously broadcasting. When you identify a limiting belief, don't fight it. Recognize it as just a frequency you once tuned into. It is not who you are. It's just energy that has been rehearsed long enough to become familiar. And anything familiar can be reprogrammed by choosing a new code. For example, if the old belief is, "Money is hard to earn," you can begin to align with, "Abundance flows when I follow resonance." At first, it might feel foreign, but the more you hold the new frequency, the more natural it becomes, until the field reflects it back through opportunities, synchronicities, and new realities. One way to accelerate this process is through conscious declaration. Writing down or speaking a new belief aloud creates a ripple that signals your willingness to change frequencies. Another powerful method is to embody the feeling state of the new belief. If you want to believe you are free, practice feeling freedom in your body. Expand your breath, loosen your posture, and imagine what freedom feels like right now. This anchors the vibration, making the belief more than just words. Every belief you hold is like a tuning fork in the field. Limiting beliefs keep you resonating with loops of scarcity, while empowering beliefs tune you into pathways of expansion. The choice is always yours. Once you understand that beliefs are not truths but codes, you can begin to edit them consciously, and each new belief becomes a building block of the frequency you live in. You are not bound by the old codes you inherited or repeated unconsciously. You are the programmer of your own frequency, and every choice to shift a belief rewrites the reality you step into. At the end, subscribe to keep rewiring your beliefs with practices that raise your quantum frequency. Excitement is not random. It is your built-in guidance system, your natural GPS, pointing you toward alignment. Every spark of excitement you feel is a signal from your higher self that the path ahead vibrates with resonance. This is why excitement feels expansive. It's not just emotion, it's frequency recognition. When you follow what excites you, even in the smallest ways, you begin to harmonize with the reality you truly desire instead of the loops you've outgrown. Many people dismiss excitement because they expect it to always be grand or world-changing. But the truth is, frequency alignment begins with subtle impulses. Choosing the meal that lights you up, calling a friend that inspires you, or pursuing a small creative urge. All of these carry vibrational weight. The quantum field doesn't measure size, it measures resonance. Following a small thread of excitement aligns you with the frequency of flow, which then attracts bigger and bigger opportunities resonant with that vibration. The loop of stagnation begins to dissolve, replaced by a current of synchronicity and expansion. Excitement also has a built-in integrity check. If you chase excitement without authenticity, using it to escape fear or responsibility, you'll feel dissonance instead of flow. True excitement carries peace underneath it, not chaos. When you are aligned, the frequency feels coherent, alive, joyful, and steady. When it is not, it feels anxious, compulsive, or draining. This is how your inner compass guides you. Your role is not to overthink it, but to feel it, trust it, and act on it. Think of excitement as a tuning fork. Every time you act on what excites you, you strike the fork again, sending ripples through the quantum field that match your true vibration. Those ripples attract synchronicities, connections, and possibilities you could not have planned with logic alone. And because the field reflects what you broadcast, the more you act on excitement, the more reality mirrors it back to you in concrete ways. This is how manifestation shifts from effort to resonance. Even when the action is small, the frequency impact is massive. For example, choosing to spend 15 minutes writing, painting, or moving your body in a way that excites you is not just a hobby, it's a recalibration of your vibration. The energy you enter afterward is brighter, clearer, and more magnetic. Toxic cycles rely on inertia, but excitement interrupts that inertia by creating new momentum. Each moment of following resonance breaks the echo of old patterns and replaces them with signals of expansion. When you think in frequency terms, you realize that excitement is not a luxury, but a necessity. It is the clearest indicator of alignment you have, and it is available in every moment. Acting on it, without expectation of where it leads, is the most direct way to align with the timeline where your manifestations already exist. Your frequency is your reality, and excitement is the compass that always points true north. Reality is not a mystery keeping secrets from you. It is a mirror faithfully showing the frequency you're broadcasting. Every relationship you attract, every opportunity that shows up, and even the obstacles you face are reflections of what you are holding within. This isn't punishment, it's feedback. The quantum field doesn't judge, it responds. And the way it responds is by reflecting your vibration back in the form of lived experience. If you want to know what frequency you've been transmitting, simply look around at what keeps repeating in your life. When toxic relationships appear again and again, it isn't because you are destined to suffer. It's because your vibration still carries beliefs, wounds, or expectations that resonate with those dynamics. If opportunities keep slipping through your fingers, it's not a cosmic rejection. It's a reflection of hesitation, doubt, or fear that you've been unconsciously holding. The mirror doesn't lie. It simply reflects until you change what's being projected. Once you begin to shift your frequency, the reflection must shift too, because the field has no choice but to follow your broadcast. This is where awareness becomes power. Many people fight the mirror, blaming others, circumstances, or bad luck for what they see. But when you think in frequency terms, you realize the mirror isn't the enemy, it's the guide. A distorted reflection is not a curse. It's an invitation to realign. The moment you stop resisting what the mirror shows you, you gain the freedom to choose a new vibration. And the instant you shift that vibration, the mirror begins to display something new. Think about it like tuning a radio. If you don't like the song that's playing, you don't smash the radio. You change the station. Life works the same way. If you don't like the feedback you're getting, you don't have to destroy the people or situations around you. You shift the frequency you're transmitting, and the station, the outer reflection, automatically changes. The beauty is that the mirror is always honest, so you can trust it to show you exactly where you are vibrationally in this moment. You've probably noticed this in your own life already. When you're aligned, joyful, and at peace, synchronicities line up effortlessly. People treat you differently. Opportunities flow, and even small daily events carry harmony. But when you're heavy with fear, anger, or doubt, the world seems to echo that back. Conversations feel tense, obstacles multiply, and nothing seems to work. It's the same law operating both ways, and the reflection always matches the broadcast. The empowering truth is that no reflection is permanent. You can always shift your frequency, and as you do, life must shift too. The mirror is not fixed, it is fluid, responsive, and immediate. You are never trapped by what it shows you. Instead, you are being given the clearest feedback system imaginable, reality itself. So take a moment right now and look at your life through this lens. What is your reality reflecting back to you most often? Comment what you see reflected most in your reality and let that awareness mark your shift point. Raising your frequency doesn't require massive overnight changes. It's about the simple, repeated habits that slowly shift your baseline vibration until it becomes second nature. Think of your frequency like the tone of an instrument. You don't tune it once and expect it to stay perfect forever. You fine-tune it daily. That's what habits do for your vibration. They keep you aligned, calibrated, and steady, even when life throws you noise or distractions. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tuning tools available. When you practice genuine gratitude, not as an empty list, but as a felt experience, you shift your frequency instantly. Gratitude signals to the quantum field that you already recognize abundance, and the field reflects that back. A simple practice of pausing to feel thankful for 3 things each morning or night begins to anchor this frequency, and over time it becomes your default state. Instead of noticing lack, you naturally notice blessings, and that shift changes what reality mirrors back. Presence is another habit that stabilizes vibration. Toxic loops often live in the mind, rehashing the past or projecting fear into the future. But presence pulls you back into the now, where alignment exists. When you breathe deeply, notice your surroundings and bring awareness to the current moment. You tune out the static of stories and tune into the frequency of clarity. Even a few mindful pauses throughout the day train your nervous system to recognize peace as home base. The more you do this, the easier it becomes to return to resonance instead of spiraling into old loops. Integrity may not sound glamorous, but it's essential for sustaining high frequency. Integrity means your actions align with your words align with your values, and your values align with your true vibration. When you live out of alignment, saying yes when you mean no, breaking promises to yourself, or hiding truths, your frequency wobbles. But when you live with integrity, you radiate coherence. That coherence is magnetic. The quantum field recognizes the steadiness and reflects back opportunities and relationships that match it. Small acts of integrity build into an unshakable frequency over time. The beauty of habits is that they compound. One moment of gratitude lifts your vibration briefly, but daily gratitude rewires your neural pathways. One act of presence brings peace in the moment, but consistent presence teaches your body to release stress automatically. One choice of integrity clears confusion, but repeated integrity builds a reality of trust and stability. These aren't just habits. They are anchors, locking in the frequency you want to live from until it becomes your new normal. What's important to remember is that raising frequency isn't about perfection. You don't need to hold gratitude every second or be mindful without fail. It's about consistency, not flawlessness. Every time you return to gratitude, presence, and integrity, you strengthen the signal. Every time you repeat the habit, you reinforce the baseline. And little by little, your quantum field adjusts until the vibration of abundance, peace, and coherence is no longer something you practice. It's simply who you are. Synchronicities are one of the clearest ways the quantum field communicates back to you. They are not random accidents or coincidences. They are precise reflections of your current frequency. When you begin to notice repeating numbers, chance encounters, or uncanny alignments, it's not the universe playing games. It's the feedback loop of resonance showing you that your vibration is stabilizing into a new pattern. What was once dismissed as luck or odd timing reveals itself as evidence that you are in alignment. Think about how a radio tunes into a station. At first, you may hear static, bits of noise, or a faint signal. But as you fine-tune the dial, the station becomes clear, steady, and unmistakable. Synchronicities are the universe's way of letting you know the dial is moving into clarity. Each sign, each repeating number, each unexpected connection is the field's way of saying, yes, stay here. This is the frequency you've been calling in. The more you acknowledge these signs, the more frequent and undeniable they become. What makes synchronicities powerful is not just their appearance, but how you interpret them. Two people could see the same repeating number on a clock. One shrugs it off as chance, the other recognizes it as alignment. The one who recognizes it amplifies the frequency further because acknowledgement is energy. When you recognize a sign, you strengthen the reality it points to. The universe responds to attention, and synchronicities multiply when you treat them as the language of resonance, rather than random quirks. These signs often arrive precisely when you doubt yourself. They are reminders that even if your physical reality hasn't caught up yet, your frequency is already shifting. You may still feel the residue of old cycles, but the presence of synchronicities shows that the new vibration is anchoring beneath the surface. They are proof that the shift is happening, even before it becomes visible in full form. This is why they are so potent. They bridge the unseen and the seen, giving you courage to trust the process. Over time, synchronicities evolve from surprises into confirmation. They stop feeling like interruptions and start feeling like normal communication with the field. When you live at a stabilized frequency, you begin to expect signs, and they flow seamlessly into your day. The bus arrives at the exact moment you step outside. The conversation you needed shows up in a friend's call. The solution appears right after you asked for guidance. These are not miracles in the extraordinary sense. They are the natural reflection of coherence between your inner state and outer world. The key is to use synchronicities not as curiosities to collect, but as guidance to embody. Every time a sign appears, pause and ask yourself, what is this showing me about the frequency I'm holding? That reflection is the real power. It keeps you tuned to alignment rather than slipping back into loops of doubt or fear. Treat every sign as a mirror, and you'll find your path forward illuminated with precision. At the end, write. Share this video with someone who needs to see their signs differently, because your ripple can shift another's resonance. When you begin to live in frequency consciousness, your perspective on life shifts completely. You no longer view choices as a rigid scale of right versus wrong. Instead, you feel into the resonance each option carries, a situation that expands your energy, that makes you feel lighter, more open, and alive. That is alignment. A situation that contracts you, that makes you feel heavy, tense, or small, that is dissonance. This way of navigating is not about morality or obligation. It's about coherence with the frequency you wish to sustain. And once you commit to living this way, your reality reorganizes around it. The beauty of frequency consciousness is that it simplifies complexity. Where before you might have overanalyzed, worried, or doubted, now the compass becomes, does this expand me? That one question contains everything. Expansion signals alignment with your highest frequency. Contraction signals a mismatch. You don't need to figure out the entire future. Your body and your emotions will tell you in the present moment whether you are on track. This is the practical translation of quantum manifestation. Listening to vibration as your guide instead of relying solely on logic or conditioning. Imagine facing a decision about a job, a relationship, or even something small like how to spend an evening. Instead of weighing pros and cons endlessly, you pause and sense. Does the idea energize you? Do you feel a quiet excitement, a sense of flow? Or does your stomach tighten, your breath shallow, your mood dim? These are not random reactions. They are frequency signals, indicators of resonance. Every time you choose the path of expansion, you shift timelines toward greater alignment. Every time you ignore it, you reinforce loops of stagnation. The choice is always yours. What happens when you live this way is remarkable. Toxic patterns lose their grip because they cannot coexist with sustained high-frequency choices. When you consistently align with what expands you, you no longer feed the energy of cycles that drain you. Over time, your baseline vibration rises, and the old loops dissolve, not because you fought them, but because you stopped tuning into them. Living in frequency consciousness makes struggle unnecessary. It replaces resistance with resonance. This doesn't mean challenges disappear overnight. It means you learn to read them differently. When something contracts you, instead of seeing it as a punishment, you recognize it as feedback. It's the field showing you where you've been holding on to dissonance. That awareness allows you to pivot back into expansion. In this way, even obstacles become allies, pointing you toward the frequencies that set you free. The deeper you go into frequency living, the more natural it becomes. Choices that once felt difficult now feel obvious. Relationships either flourish or fade based on resonance. Opportunities appear that reflect your expanded state. Life itself becomes a mirror of the vibration you hold, and at the center of it all is that one guiding question. Does this expand me? When you let that question shape your daily choices, you are no longer guessing your way through life. You are consciously tuning reality, one frequency at a time. Here is the technique you've been waiting for, the moment where understanding turns into direct experience. This guided process is simple, but don't underestimate its power. It isn't about adding more effort. It's about tuning in to what is already here. Remember, everything in your reality is frequency, and when you consciously adjust your vibration, the field cannot help but reorganize around you. Start with the breath. Close your eyes and take a slow inhale through your nose, filling your lungs until you feel your chest expand. Hold it gently for a moment, then exhale through your mouth, letting your shoulders soften. Repeat this 3 times. Each breath is not just oxygen. It is vibration, carrying energy into your system and releasing contraction on the way out. With every exhale, imagine old cycles, toxic patterns, and heavy energy leaving your field. With every inhale, feel new space opening for alignment, clarity, and light. Next, set your intention. Place a hand on your heart and silently declare, I choose to align with the frequency of freedom. Say it once with focus. Say it again with emotion. Then say it a 3rd time, but imagine the field around you responding instantly, as if the entire universe has registered your choice. Intention is the signal you send. Repetition is the amplifier. By naming it clearly, you collapse probability into possibility. Now move into visualization. Picture yourself already living in the timeline you desire. See the version of you who has already shifted. Notice how they walk, how they speak, the environment around them. More importantly, feel their vibration. Is it lighter, stronger, more expansive? Take a moment to step into their body and borrow their frequency as if it is your own. Because it is. The field does not distinguish between imagination and physical fact. It only registers vibration. The more vividly you embody it now, the faster your reality aligns. Finally, seal the process with choice. Whisper to yourself, this is who I am now. Not in the future, not someday, now. Choice is what locks the vibration in place. It's not about hoping or waiting. It's about declaring. When you make that choice from a place of coherence, breath, intention, visualization, the field mirrors it back without delay. This is the quantum law at work. As within, so without. To deepen this, sit for a few minutes in silence. Feel the energy in your body, the tingling, the subtle hum of alignment. Know that this state is not fragile. You don't need to hold it with force. Simply remember it, return to it, and act from it. Each time you repeat this technique, you strengthen the signal, and reality has no choice but to respond in kind. This is the key to consciously tuning your frequency. Use it nightly. Use it in moments of doubt. Use it whenever you sense old patterns trying to pull you back. Your frequency is your true power, and now you have the method to wield it.